Hi everybody. So I have a special guest today at my studio. I have the famous Fiona Stiles. She's my colleague. We've known each other for a really long time. She's an amazing makeup artist. And I'm just so honored to have you here today. Thanks, Fiona, for coming.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Your channel is amazing. And
Thank
I
you.
love that you have makeup artists on. We're friends. We've known each other for a long time. And it's just a really comfortable place to be.
Thank you. So we have a really pretty model today. Her name is Jessica. Maybe you can explain what you're going to do on her.
Yeah, sure. So Monika and I were brainstorming about what to do for this tutorial and came up with the idea of using as few products as possible. My bag's really heavy. I'm sure your bag is really heavy. I don't want to carry around a ton of makeup. So what you can use, how you can sort of multitask and do beauty hacks with certain products. And I'm really excited. It's going to be super fun.
Thanks for watching and we see you soon.
Thanks. Bye. Hope you like it. Okay, so we're going to start with the Orbe Balm Essence Lip Treatment. I always prep the skin first with moisturizer and then always with a lip balm so that it has time to marinate and seep into the skin so that by the time I get to the lips, which is last, they're all moist and juicy and ready to accept lipstick. Okay, so this is a makeup artist cult classic. The Luminous Silk Foundation is so beautiful and dewy on the skin. So this is a great foundation that we're going to use today, and Jessica is number 2. So as a makeup artist, I always use a brush and a beauty blender, but I know that at home people tend to use their fingers, which is absolutely fine. This is just the way that we tend to do this as makeup artists. It's a little more time consuming, but I really feel like this is how you get the best finish. So I put a little bit in the center of the face. I usually do the sides of the nose, the chin, turn towards me a little bit please, and the cheeks. So I really focus on the center of the face and then I'll blend out so that you don't get too much product down by your jawline, in your hairline, and this way you ensure more coverage in the center, but a really beautiful. For concealer, we're going to use the NARS Radiant Concealer. I believe she has a 2.5. So what we want to do is take away a little bit of this purpley blue color under here. Everyone has a little bit of blue purple here. And then this is a place that sometimes people forget about, but there's always, always discoloration right there in the outer corner of the eye. So you can go in with a brush or you can go in with your fingers. Again, whatever you are comfortable with. Come this way, my babe. I tend to use both. I tend to go back and forth depending on how much coverage I want. But I will tell you that when I'm doing my own makeup, it is quick and fast. And I grab whatever brush is sitting there, totally just doing what I can to get out the door. So don't feel like you guys have to do it exactly as we do it. Do you see how that just brightened everything up there so quickly? Hardly any product. Now she looks like she had 4 cups of coffee and 9 hours sleep. Right?
Yeah.
Goals. And then I'm going to do, you're a little bit pink up here, babe. So I'm going to do a little bit there. I'm not really a fan of highlighter under the brow, but I do like a little bit of concealer just to keep that skin blended and the same consistency as the rest of the face. I think it looks weird sometimes if there's bare skin here and the rest of the face has makeup on it. And I'll just go through, dot some stuff on. So we're going to talk about multitasking with products today. That's sort of the vibe. How to get away with having as few products in your purse as possible. I don't know about you, my purse is super heavy, even though there's nothing in it. I love a cream blush and I love a cream lipstick. So we're going to do a little cheat and use a really pretty, we're going to do a little cheat here and we're going to use a really pretty lipstick as a blush. So again, you don't have to carry around too many things. I'm going to use this brand Kosas and this color is Rosewater. I'm going to show you the color, it's really pretty. Isn't that perfect sort of lip color? I'm going to use my fingers and just pat onto the bullet and put a little bit on her cheeks. Giving her a really soft, natural flush. I love a cream blush. It just sinks into the skin so beautifully, and I love using a lipstick as a cheat. Now, you don't want a lipstick that's too matte. You're not going to be able to boss it around. You're not going to be able to push it into place if it's too matte and dry. And you don't want one that's too pigmented because, again, you're going to have that same problem. It's not going to blend nicely. So one thing that we need to remember, or you need to remember when you're doing your makeup, is like is paired with like. So as you're doing foundation and concealer and anything creamy, I used a cream blush. I didn't powder first. If I'd powdered first, then it's going to be too sticky, it's not going to blend beautifully, and it's not going to work. So before I powder her, I'm going to use one more cream product to do a cream contour, and then after that we'll powder it. Okay, so this is the Fiona Stiles Radiant Aqua Eye Veil in Outpost, which is a super beautiful taupey color, really versatile. Okay, I'm going to show you this. I have used almost this whole thing, but I just want to show you how it's this sort of pudding consistency, which is really concentrated and really, really amazing. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit and put it on my hand, because then I can blend it down to the amount that I need. And I'm going to pop it under her cheeks. This is really an eye product, but I'm going to use it as a cream contour in the interest of doing as few products as possible to get as many results as possible. So I'm just pushing it in underneath her cheekbone. This is called your tragus here. And I usually start at about the center of there, and I have an invisible line that goes to the outer corner of her mouth, and it really sort of stops at the outer corner of her eye. So that's where I focus contour on. And again, this will just give you a really soft, natural contour. And she's a 2 PS color-wise, and it's not too dark, and it's not too orange, and it's not too brown on her. So it gives her a really pretty contour. So this is the Dior Nude Air Loose Translucent Powder in number 10. I love a loose powder, it's my favorite. So before I powder, I will go back up under the eyes, make sure it's all clean, there's nothing in creases. If you set your powder, if you set your under eye with all of these creases and the powder, they are gonna be there all day. That is not what you want. And I'll just do a little dusting of powder here and there. I don't wanna flatten the skin out too much. Just give it a nice setting so that it'll last throughout the day. I'll go in with a smaller brush, look up please, and go under the eyes and set that powder. Once I get to the face to a place like this where it's powdered, I've got a little color on the cheeks, I've done my cream products, and now I'm moving on to my powder products, then I'll do the brows, because for me doing the brows sort of anchors the face and gives me a slightly finished look, and from there I can continue with my decisions about where I want to go. But if I do it without the brow, I feel all unbalanced and freaked out, and the look doesn't feel complete as I'm moving forward. So again, these are just, idiosyncrasies that we adopt over the years, but it's what makes me feel comfortable. So that's what I'm sharing with you. And before I start doing brows, I always brush them up, have a look at what I'm working with, where I need to fill in, if I need to do any tweezing. It just helps me get a better idea of what that finished brow is going to look like. And sometimes, believe it or not, people have stuff in their brows and you want to comb that out. You might notice these little puffs I have on my hands. My daughter calls them lamb hands, which I think is pretty adorable. I just spent, 15 minutes doing her foundation, and then I'm going to put my paws all over her face? No way, Jose. So I keep these here so that I can rest on her face and use that to keep my balance and have a steady hand without taking off all of the makeup that I had just put on. Also, it's more sanitary. And it feels nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I love it.
They're really soft. These ones I get in Japan. They're from Shiseido. And I don't know if you can really get these velour puffs here. They're so extra, super special soft. I like to fill in a little scudge here so that there's a little bit of an anchor to the brow. And if I do go up here, if I do want to make the brow thicker, I'll go right under the hair here. And I'm really just doing this to show you because it's not necessarily what I wanted to do, but I want to show you. And then when I brush these up, it sort of masks where I've filled in the brow because you still have these little natural sprouts coming up. So that's a good way to get a fuller brow without it looking too dense and heavy or like you used a Sharpie or an eyeliner or something, which is not a look I'm super fond of. I mean, I love a bold brow, but I like a natural looking bold brow. Pump the brakes, this totally happens. I felt like this shade, when I got over here when there was a little hole, I felt like the Dior was a little bit warm. So I am switching gears and we're gonna move on to a different eyebrow pencil. So now we're gonna move on to Hourglass, and this is Soft Brunette. I feel like this is a cooler tone and it works a little better for her color. This is a shape that I am not super comfortable using, I'm not gonna lie, but that's what this is about. This is about experimenting and trying things out and making it work, people. So the thing that's funny about this shape eyebrow pencil is that it's triangular, and I like something that has quite a strong point, but that's what we can use a little concealer and a pointy brush with. So I'll put a little bit of concealer here. I will take a brush that's a little bit flat, and then I'll just go here and sharpen it up with these little back and forth movements to give that a nice crisp line. I think I've had this brush for 20 years. I think I have maybe 10 of them. It's from Face Stockholm. Does that company even exist anymore? I don't think so. They had a store in Soho in New York, and I fell in love with this brush and bought a ton of them. So this is a beautiful workhorse of a brush that I've had for probably close to 2 decades. This is the Fiona Stiles Beauty Eyeshadow Palette in Meyer, and you can see how banged up it's gotten in my kit. So now it's Fiona Stiles, same person. It's really still me. And this is what the quad looks like open. They're really, really beautiful colors that can be super neutral or they can be really intense. And this is one of my favorite palettes that I use on myself on the daily and very, very often at work. All right, so since we're using products that are gonna be multitasking, I'm gonna do a little bit of a day to night situation. We're gonna start off kind of light with this shadow, and then we're gonna move into something a little bit darker. So I'm going to use this color as a base. I like to start here just to see where we're at with product and then move forward towards the inner corner of the eye. This is a really pretty neutral, it's good for work. I always tap my brushes, don't blow on them, it's super gross, guys. You're spitting on your brushes. And I'll go from the lash line to the crease and then gently blend it up a little bit out. So this is a nice color for depth, for a little definition. Good for work, doesn't look like too much makeup. And again, I'm just making sure there's no creases in the foundation or concealer, otherwise you're just gonna set that crease in there as soon as you put powder in. And starting from the outside and moving in. My looks are usually pretty natural. I'm not a big cut crease person or anything like that. I want a look to be soft and wearable and feminine. That's just been my aesthetic since I started. I do love a little drama occasionally, but I still like a really soft, pretty drama. I'm gonna go back to Outpost in that Radiant Aqua Eye Veil. I'm gonna put that in the outer corner for a little bit more depth. And then start pushing it towards the inner corner of the eye. And I love that there's like a really soft sheen to this product that gives a little bit of life and light without looking dull. Same thing, starting in the outer corner. And something I really love is, I call it a smoky neutral eye or a smoky taupe eye. I think it's really pretty for daytime. I think it's really pretty for nighttime. It's great for transitioning from day to night. You can do it with a strong lip. You can do it with a neutral lip. Great contour. I find it really versatile and never too heavy and never too, it's just not too draggy. It's not too dramatic, but it really makes your eyes pop. I'm gonna use this pencil brush. This one is an oldie but a goodie from Kevin O'Quan. I'm sure they still make this one. I don't know what they sell it as, but this is what I use it for. Look up. I'm sure they sell it as an eye brush. I'm gonna do a little bit of the Outpost under the eye. Keeping it mostly concentrated on the outer corner. So you can totally use these with your fingers. I'm a bit of a brush girl, but you can completely apply it with your fingers. You saw me apply it as a contour with my fingers, but if you wanted to do a really quick out the door, literally 30-second look, you can just pat it on with your fingers, blend it, and then off you go. You've got a nice depth in your eye. So this is the Ultra Smooth Waterproof Eye Defining Pencil in Mulholland from Fiona Stiles Beauty. That is a mouthful. And you can see how that gives her like a sexy, slightly more bedroomish look without closing up her eyes and making her look hard or too tough. I just think it gives this really, really pretty elongation of the eye. It makes it a little bit more feline and a little bit more sensual without someone saying, oh, you're wearing a lot of eye makeup. It still looks really soft. It still looks really approachable. And it's one of my favorite red carpet tricks to give a look a little bit more sensuality without weighing it down. Then I'll push a little bit into the lash line. Look up a little bit, please. And then I will take a little soft smudging brush. This one's from Jenny Patinkin. Her brushes are made in Japan. They're so soft and pretty. And I love this one because it's short and dense. So I love it for underneath the eyes. So now she has like a soft smoked out look underneath, and I'll do the same on top. Look down, please. Right up in the lash line. Pushing it across. So I am sure you guys all know how to curl your lashes. A little squeeze. When I do it on someone else, I always pull the, are you okay in there? Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, I always check to make sure someone's okay in there. Second of all, I always pull the skin up just a little bit so I can get more eyelash and less chances of pinching. How you doing? Good. I also keep a hand on their face and resting against the eyelash curler to make sure that I'm not shaking and that I'm steady, because it's an act of trust. This is the Fiona Stiles Beauty Ultimate Lash Icon Mascara, volumizing mascara in Carbon Canyon. I named all of the products after street names in Los Angeles and New York because those have been my two homes for the longest, and it's sort of a fun way to come up with makeup names that aren't, I don't know, that actually mean something to me. I think that's challenging to come up with makeup names, especially ones that are actually personal. So I bend the wand. This way I can just really wiggle it into the lashes better. Works for me. I like to really push the mascara into the base of the lashes. It almost works like tight lining when you do it that way. And you really get an inky black line at the base of the lashes. And then you don't have to go in with a black liner. So you can keep the look soft but still have that definition. It makes the lashes look longer and fuller. 70s lashy vibe. I think we reference the 60s and 70s so much as makeup artists that it just becomes like a consistent part of our vernacular and aesthetic. Oh, these are from Muji. You have to have them. Here's a little bit of a multitasky situation. I'm going to go back to that Mulholland color from Fiona Stiles Beauty. I'm going to get it really sharp. And I'm going to use this as a lip liner for, I'm going to just do like a really pretty neutral mouth. And I like this because it's really taupey. So we can get this sort of like pretty 90s vibe with the lips. And I just like to do short, feathery strokes. And I'm doing it more for effect. I'm not doing it to extend her lip line or anything, or go over her lip line. I'm just doing this brown for more of a 3D effect. I'm going to put a little extra concealer in here. She has a little bit of redness around the outer edges of her lips. So I like to clean that up with a little bit of concealer on a sharp little brush. This is a Sephora brush. It's a good little synthetic brush. And she has a lot of natural color in her lips, which is really nice. So if I wanted to, I could literally just stop here and put more lip balm on and blend it in. But because I use that pretty color on her cheeks, I'm going to use that on her lips as well. Personally, I like a big, flat brush for lips. Something like this is in my kit only to do cream colors on eyes. Cannot stand this shape for lips. But again, here are all the weird differences between makeup artists. Some people would swear by a square-tipped lip brush. Okay, so you can see on the bottom, I've just blended out that taupe a little bit. Turn towards me a little bit more. I think my head's probably in the way. So you just have a little bit of darkness at the outer edge of the lips. Just a soft definition. but it gives the lips like sort of 3D effect, making them look kind of extra juicy and full without looking like a lot of lip liner or makeup. And then lastly, another thing I like to do is just take a little bit more of that lip balm. We can pop a little bit in the center of the lip just to give it a little bit more shine, a little bit more 3D juiciness. Pop a little bit here on the bridge of the nose. So I kind of like to go from the deepest indent of the nose to about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way down for my highlight. Then we can also take a little bit more, very carefully so you don't take off the foundation or anything else that you've been working on, and do a little bit of highlight there with the lip balm.